What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 5 of my $10,000 to $100,000 challenge. This was a really nice week. We had a lot of green in the market. So if you're new to the challenge, I'll be going ahead and showcasing my journey from 10,000 to 100,000, and I'll go through my buys and sells that I did during this week, my Google spreadsheet, as well as the watch list I have for the next upcoming week. Diving into the video, we can see that it was a really nice green week. The US stock markets had a really nice green trend. A lot of stocks are really high up. The Nasdaq, S&P breaking records as well. Actually, the Nasdaq hasn't broken, but it's almost at the highest point that's been at, so that's really nice to see. The only sectors that really didn't do that well were energy. Energy had a really green, as well as oil and gas struggling, as well as biotech. Biotech, there was a lot of red in the biotech. But more sectors have had a really nice week, and we can see this with the green chart for this week. If we look at the world as well as Canada, we can see that Canada had the TSX had a pretty nice week as well, with a few exceptions. Suncor being one of them, one of the stocks I have, so that sucks, but that's all good. We're here for the long term. We can see that China also had a really red week though. China was struggling during this week. I did buy into BABA. I'll go ahead and speak into that a little bit later, but China has overall went down, and we can see that as well. Here's a quick update on my account as well. Looking at my personal as well as my TFSA, we can see that I'm up 220 on my personal, as well as $9 overall on my TFSA. I'm actually down on my RBC TFSA because of Ideanomics being my biggest play there, but we are almost break even, and for the long term I'm really bullish, and with penny stocks there's a lot of volatility involved, so I'm not really worried. So diving into the buys and sells that I did during this week, so the first thing I did was I bought some FSI. I did talk about the stock in my last week's watch list. I got the opportunity to add some. It was trading on a discount from its previous price, so I went ahead and added some to this stock. Second thing I did was I went ahead and sold a little bit of my GDNP. So the reason I was selling this week a little bit was because I wanted to generate as much cash as possible. There's a lot of greed in the market, and I wanted to be ready for when we see a dip in the market and have cash ready so I can go ahead and use that. And I was also selling GDNP at a profit, so I wasn't losing any money or anything like that. And this was one of the stocks that I do still have a high conviction in. I just think it was a little bit overextended, as well as I needed some money to add on to plays that I have more conviction in. So next thing I did was I went ahead and bought some Icon. This was another play I was talking about on my watch list. This is a stock that I wanted to add on to a while, and I got it at a good price of $210. So the reason I haven't added too many, I'm dollar cost averaging into these plays, and I'm while we see a dip, I'm going to go ahead and add more when they're at cheaper prices. So I went ahead and sold a little bit of Hive as well. So what happened with Hive was should be right here. I sold Hive this week. Yeah, I sold the Hive. It was at around 50% return because I bought it at around $3.50, and it increased a lot during this week. So I went ahead and did the swing trade that I was trying to do on Hive and sold that. So going down, what I did was I also bought BABA. I recently just made a video about this stock that Charlie Munger bought. This is a premium stock around 300 Canadian, so I went ahead and bought one share. I got it at a good price around $2.25. It saw a dip down like $5, so I went ahead and bought that. Overall, the Chinese market has been down, but this is a stock I'm holding for a really long time, so I don't mind, and I have high conviction in this place. So it was trading around 310, 320, just like December, so this is a really good play, and it's trading at a margin of safety, so that's always nice. So I bought CXW this week. So the reason being, this is a prison read I talked about. I really like this play, and it went down a lot during this week because they broke out news that they were selling bonds as well as trying to allocate as much cash as possible. So I dropped the price below $7. I went ahead and added a lot to this. I added around 4 shares to this, and it's already up 50 cents, so that was really nice. So going back, I added more on FSI, and the other play was NTWK. I talked about this. This is a technology stock. I wanted to add on to this. It dipped a bit. It was trading around $4.50 the whole week, so I didn't get that many opportunities. It dropped down to around $4.20, so I went ahead and bought that. I'm going to be adding more onto this position as it dips down during this week. If we go ahead and look at the sentiment in the market, we can see that the sentiment is really heavily bullish. So what that means is there's a lot of greed in the market, and the famous Warren Buffett quote goes, "Be fruitful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." So right now, while the market is really greedy, I wanted to take some step backs and take some of the profits that I had in my plays and generate as much cash as possible. And then using that cash, I'm going to be buying back onto the bull trend. But as you can see, the bulls right now are really heavy. We are at all-time highs for the year in terms of bulls, and that's insane because that means we're at close to the top of the market, and we should be really careful while these prices are high. So as of right now, the risk is a lot higher than the reward that we can get because we are at a high level, all-time highs on the S&P. So I just wanted to be careful, get some of my profits out, and be able to be prepared for the next dip that we get, and then go ahead and buy into the plays that have high conviction and plan on holding for the long term. If we go ahead and look at the SPY ETF, we can see that the amount of buyers has been insane, and there's been a huge exponential push upwards during this week. So what's going to happen is these gaps need to be filled as well. So we're most likely going to see resistance at around 400, 403, and go ahead and test these levels. So we can't just keep going up. There's going to be some sort of meltdown. We see that the volume is decreasing. There hasn't been any sellers during this time, and once the sellers do come and show up, this is gonna go ahead and drop the high levels that we are seeing right now. There's no institutional sellers at the current time, so there's only retail buyers most of the time right now. So that's been increasing the price at a slow flat rate, except for what we got on Monday. But once we start seeing these sellers push down the market, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and buy with the cash that I've been generating during this week. So diving into the Google Sheets, we can see that there was major changes that I made. So some of my new stock picks such as FSI are here now, Icon is here, as well as NTWK, as well as Alibaba, which I've added. We can see that I have a lot of cash as well, around 17% of my portfolio is in cash, and this was a red week for me. The reason being my biggest play, which is Ideanomics, around 34 and 35%, was down this week, so my portfolio took a hit. That's fine. I'm long-term holding, and I see a lot of potential in this company, especially since they have so much cash on hand. So there's going to be news about an acquisition, and that's going to raise the price of this share. So what happened was I went ahead and updated all of my numbers as well as how many stocks I bought with this week, and let's go ahead and look at that. So this week I am down around $350 compared to what last week was, and that's a total of $18.26. So we're still almost break even, and we have a lot of cash on hand, which we're going to use to buy the dips. So I'm honestly feeling comfortable, and with these picks I'm really bullish for the long term. So let's go ahead and just look at my portfolio breakdown. So we can see that cash is one of my highest picks, Ideanomics is my second, Enthusiast Gaming is at my third, as well as Dividend 15, which is my dividend stock, which is really high up. So now we can see the new position, Alibaba, which is taking up 2%. I'm personally comfortable with that, and GDNP is no longer here, so that's 5% is gone. I'm going to be adding on to the bigger positions that I've bought this week in Icon, CIH, as well as I'll go into that in my watch list, but I plan on adding on to those, and those plays are going to start taking up more of my portfolio. I'm just trying to diversify myself a little bit more compared to some of my biggest picks, and go ahead and add on to those. Just going ahead and looking at my industrial and sector, we can see that cash is my biggest technology is my biggest, and then we have cash a lot, and then communication services. The new sector we got now is consumer discretionary with Alibaba, as well as one of my other stocks. So we're gonna be adding on. We're just trying to diversify ourselves in our industries as well. And what happened during this week was renewable electricity took a major hit. That's fine. We are bullish on that sector, so we'll be waiting for that. And we're going to be getting around our 7% dividend this week as well. That's going to be nice. It's around 10 plus. So and I've only invested around $700 into it. So $10 dividend every month is really nice. So we'll go ahead and just be adding on to using that dividend to add more onto my dividend play and just compounding that annually. ETF is at 2%. So I have a couple ETF plays that I'm thinking about buying as well during this week, particularly 2 times bull NASDAQ or 2 times bull S&P. So I'll be adding on to my ETF positions as well during this week. I'll talk a little bit more about that in my watch list. Alright guys, let's go ahead and look at my watch list. So I still have my dividend plays FFN, DFN, DDS, which I'm still looking to. Unfortunately, they haven't reached my price targets yet, so I'm still waiting on them. They are still looking at good amounts. I still want to see them go down $1 at least before I go ahead and buy some of them. They're doing relatively well. So the way the dividend split shares work is that if they hit their NAVs, the price of those shares really go up, and that's what they've been doing in this economy right now, which we're in. There hasn't been any fluctuations or corrections, so these stocks are doing really well. So we're just going to be patient on them, and once they dip down, we're going to go ahead and buy some of these to increase our annual dividends. So for growth plays, I've added a lot more. So FSI, Flexible Solutions International, as well as NetSol Technologies. So these are both plays I'm very bullish on. I've done my intrinsic value, and both of them are trading at a more than 50% discount currently, so that's why I'm just going to go ahead and adding onto these, as well as CIH, China Index, and Icon. I did try to buy China, it didn't drop down, China Index holdings, so I'm still being patient on that, and we're going to go ahead and add more. We can see currently this should be actually 400, not 8. Let's go ahead and fix that. So I do need to add a bit more onto these plays. I bought 5 and 30 and 20, so we'll go ahead and add more onto these at their current price, and the plays haven't hit their price targets, so we're just being patient on those as well. This one is actually nearing what I want to add. 400 is currently at 412, so once it reaches that, we'll go ahead and add onto that play as well and see how we go from there. ARK is actually doing really well. That's really nice. Tesla's and as well as other ARK holdings are up compared to when I bought it, so that's always nice to see. But if it does drip down, I'll go ahead and buy more ARK shares. So this is the play I talked a little bit about. S&P 500 2 times daily bull. I do want it. It's currently raised a lot from last week as well because of the green week that we had this week. But when it drops down, I'm going to go ahead and add on to this position. This is a play I really like. It's 2 times, so I can go ahead and increase my earnings 2 times. That's really nice, and it's S&P. S&P is always been increasing regardless of how it does. I might be adding on to the NASDAQ version of this, but we'll see what I do during this week. But this is a really nice play I want to add on to. I've been thinking about H2O Innovations as well, but unfortunately it hasn't dropped down to the price that I wanted at, so we're just going to be patient on this and wait for the long term. In terms of my recovery plays, Cineplex, obviously Cineplex had a good drop down. It has recovered since then. There was news that pumped up the stock, but I'm just still swing trading this, so I'm still being patient on it. I'll be making a video on Air Canada as well, but Air Canada hasn't reached my price target. It was trading at a higher price as well, so once it reaches this $20, I'll go ahead and add on to this. Rolls Royce, another really good play. Unfortunately, it's been increasing in this time period, so I haven't got the opportunity to add on to this, but this is a really nice recovery play that I really like, and this is trading at undervalued prices right now, so whatever opportunity I'm going to get, I'm going to try to add on to. So once it reaches around maybe 150 is a good price to add on to this. This is a play I'm really bullish on for the long term, so I'll be adding on to this during this next upcoming week. I am waiting for those dip downs because I talked about my technical analysis as well and what's going to be happening in the market right now. There's a lot of greed, so once that happens, I'm going to be adding on to some of these plays. Alright guys, just to wrap up this video, I just want to thank you guys for making it to the end of this week. I'm going to be having finals for next week, so I'm going to be a bit busy. I'll go ahead and upload a lot of new videos. I have a lot of ideas in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, as well as market news, so I'll be making those after I'm done with exams. I just want to thank everyone for being here. For everyone that wants to start their new Wealthsimple challenge, get onto this. There's a lot of things you can learn, a lot of money you can make. I'll leave my link in the description below. You can go ahead and sign up and get yourself $10. Alright, thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful rest of your week.